We are into the second hour of the Frontline as we ask how the country can pick up pieces after Thursday's fierce elections that saw shockers and surprises. Honorable Ssemujju, I want us to shift gears and look at the way forward. Is it time now to delve into the certainties, including dialogue, for the sake of the country?
Very difficult. First, I think now with 71% pro-Kremlin.
You rub that in a lot.
Museveni thinks he now has mandate to do things his own way. After his brain has been here for 40 years, do I need to enter it? He now has that mandate that he will be throwing in our faces. You can hear Ofonopono celebrating that for the first time they have won in all the regions. 2016, there are many actors, including my neighbor here, who thought they needed to facilitate a discussion. But also Museveni was very fearful that any disruption would actually cause a problem to the economy.
2016, when Besigye claimed they had won.
Not claim, the Besigye won. So there are many people who are persuading Museveni to go into a dialogue. Museveni was not persuaded, but he was worried of the economy. So because of that, he created an impression that actually he was interested in talking. Eventually, he ran away when things had settled down. Yes.
Who ran away?
Museveni ran away. He had accepted everything. There was time we proposed the former UN Secretary General as a moderator. He said it's okay. Then Mbeki said, so everybody was saying okay. We even had a document drafted. And he accepted all the issues, but he kept demanding that, okay, these issues you are raising are okay, we can deal with them, but I want to meet Besigye.
FDC.
Because
we say Besigye wanted to meet Museveni to resolve the impasse.
I was part of the committee. First of all, people make a mistake. It's not Museveni who demanded for a dialogue. There are different parties, from the Situation Room to religious leaders, Inter-Religious Council, the Elders Forum of Ogola. There was also another group of Mwenda. So these different people were the ones approaching both Museveni and Besigye, proposing a dialogue. And I think both of them had accepted. I was part of a committee that we set up at Kasanga, and Museveni set up a committee headed by Rugunda. So the two committees had actually drafted a document, and Museveni said he will sign first. But he said, I need to meet Besigye. So that became Museveni's demand. And
Ssemujju
and I'm one of those who told Besigye
refused.
That if you meet, not Ssemujju and
Ssemujju,
if you meet this will corrupt. So he will take photographs and he will say things are okay, and then the propaganda machine of the state will start.
So we are where we are because of Besigye's belligerence.
No, I have told you the circumstances. Where we are now, I worry for Uganda. Because the point I made earlier that Museveni would never want to deploy the state in the full view of everybody. He will disguise it. But today I think he has lost shame, so he can pick the money, pick the military, pick everything, and then you have the Mwenda group that is cheering. His son, who heads the military, he will congratulate NRM. He will say, now we want to provide logistics. You people have gone through your internal process. So I don't see the appetite on the part of Museveni. Because at that time you had the opposition. Today he works with it in his government. DP of Mao is there. The one of Akena is there. I don't know which one else. He prefers working with the opposition in that manner, that you provide them some ministerial, some jobs, but to engage in a constructive dialogue, because in his speech he was saying Nope and this element of Besigye are terrorists, which is the reason I think my brother, the Honorable Mwanga, I went to see him, is detained at Chira, which is the reason he's behind bars. I saw on this TV that the other deputies of Kyagulanyi are also in jail. Hundreds of our supporters are in prison. So he has identified which opposition to work with and which opposition to crush. and that's where now things are becoming very difficult, because he seems determined that this SJ group and the Chaguranyi, these ones are terrorists, I must crush them. And he actually said so in his speech. He said, not everybody in opposition is bad, but these ones. So he will want to work with the UPC, he will want to work with the Mao and others, because I think now he's bent on... No, I left out FDC deliberately. I don't want to be...
But you pointed and said, and others...
No, I was just looking in your direction. So that's where we are now. He wants to work with the opposition.
Okay, is there a stalemate at all?
I am actually more worried, because I have kept saying here, this might be the last sort of election that we have in Uganda, where NRM people have organized an election, declared themselves unopposed, removed some opposition for them to be declared, cheated some constituencies, genuinely won others, with the Mwenda group taking over. Because in my view, I think this is going to be Museveni's last term and Muhoozi's first term. So it's going to be two people running the country with their groups. This is Muhoozi's first term with his father at 81, and this is going to be Museveni's last term. And Muhoozi is brutal. Maybe Mwenda will be the one helping us, because for him, the difference, when Museveni beats you in the morning, he will be setting up a commission of inquiry. When Muhoozi beats you, he will be on social media celebrating. So you have two actors who are going to be running the state. So it's going to be more brutal, it's going to be more repressive than it has ever been, and it has started. I've told you, I went to see Mwanga Chivumbi this morning. He's at Kira. Even himself is a victim. If you look at the door of his garage, it has holes. They are shooting through the garage. But the victim now is the one who is behind the bars. As I said, you have two other deputy presidents who are in prison, and hundreds, including the ones who were arrested in the last election. They have never prosecuted them. They are in Chitaria. I have visited some. So you don't know who else is going to be...
Thank you. Honorable Wanyoto, do you agree the country is on the edge in the aftermath of the election?
That's your perception. You even said that there are pieces to be picked. We've just had elections of local council today. On Tuesday, you are going to have another election. You're already talking about elections.
So all is well.
For you, elections, we are just, I think, the ones of the presidential.
No,
I've been listening to you.
His background does not allow him to see things with the clear lenses.
Elections are still continuing. We even have elections
That's
on...
interesting blackmail. Okay, go ahead. Proceed.
We even have elections on the 27th
sham.
of this month. You called me, I was just coming from an election of the mayors and these local government leaders.
So all is well.
So it's not well, but at least the elections are happening. They are fair. You cannot say perfect. But people are electing, and you are undermining a process which is still ongoing, the way you are talking. In your mind, elections were for only the presidential and I think parliamentary. But this country is still running elections.
Yeah, but I'm not undermining that.
Until next week on Tuesday.
I'm drawing a score sheet.
Secondly, I heard you talking about the country being picked in pieces. I do not see any pieces. We are here discussing NB. Of course, there are incidents. But on the scale of 100, we can say Uganda has gone through elections, maybe 80% progress. The 20 can be managed case by case.
Okay. Do you see post-election tensions anywhere?
I do not see any.
Where we are now, the leading opposition candidate is in hiding.
He's in the drama. He's in the drama. But
Say that again?
He's in a drama. But even if he was crying, you cannot prevent somebody from crying to his mother if his milk is spilled. Can you? If a child has a cup of milk and drops,
do you concur
and runs to the mother and runs to the mother crying, can you prevent that child from?
Do you concur with OO on his
I am not aware why Honorable Chagulanyi is in hiding.
For his
because
life, as the CDF base for his head.
Let him come out and go and report to the police for protection. You've just been told that Mwanga Chivumbi is in custody, in police. let him go to police so that his case is well spelled out, because institutions of governance are working. Now, when you hide, the question is, for how long will you hide?
Well,
and for what reason? Because you can actually go and say, why are there speculations that are being sought for? Can I know the charge sheet? Because one of his colleagues is already there, they are going to produce him before a court of law.
What does it mean to you when a leading opposition candidate hides for his life, flees for his life?
I advise him to come out, because behind him are so many people. Let him come and be the head and the protector of his people.
What does it speak of the state?
Which state now? There's a lot of speculation. If you hear rumors that you are being looked for, why don't you go to the right place and you get protection or be charged? So when you hide, how far can you hide and for how long will you hide?
Is it drama?
I cannot say it's drama. I'm just.
I
cannot
isn't
play.
it anything of serious
Kagwanjala,
concern?
you've just said that the country is in pieces, but I'm here. I drove from a long distance on NBS. I'm talking, and I'm advising that let him come and report, because there's so much he can hide. For how long is he going to hide?
Honorable Wanyoto, just to give you a flashback.
And you have just said that we are in pieces. Uganda is in. How do you explain those pieces?
Are you skipping me?
No. I'll
You have
come
just
to
said
you.
that the country is in pieces.
Don't worry.
How can you explain
I'm
the
worried.
pieces? Which
Okay.
pieces are you talking about?
How do you?
You are giving an impression.
Okay.
That
How do
there
you
has been
describe the current mood in the country?
It's
after
peaceful. Even today we had elections. It's relatively peaceful. We've had elections today. We're having elections on Tuesday. We've had elections last Thursday where I was participating. And I won the
that's
election.
a mark of a peaceful process?
On a balance of scale, it's peaceful.
Honorable Sivambi, how do you gauge the mood in the country in the aftermath of elections? And what
calm.
do you think can be done for the dust to settle?
First of
I'll
all,
come to you.
That we are in
Don't worry.
pieces.
No.
Which
Simon,
pieces?
I take exception.
Simon,
I take exception. You are the moderator, yes. But I think.
You are biased.
as
No, I'm
usual-
balanced.
No. As usual, you are heavily biased. I think
That's
you have
your
you have a narrative you want to drive, and we shall raise it at another level together with you. You have insisted that this election is a sham, which is you are right to make that assessment.
Did I?
but
Yes, you have.
Did I?
You have
as a panelist,
No, did I? No, I think you're trying to blackmail me.
No, but say that the country is in
That cannot take me away.
Which pieces?
when you have
But I'm right.
when you have visitors,
I'm
you
right.
should give-
I'm right to take on this biased moderator.
I think I would equally take exception.
No. You
at
can
your
take strong exception. You can
bullish
take,
character.
Yes, you can take strong exception, like
Yes.
I am taking. I think I am right to take on a biased moderator.
Please go ahead.
I'm right. I'm right to take you on.
Okay,
I'm
it's
right to
okay.
take you
It's
on.
all right. Oh.
First of all, you have insisted more than 100 times on this show that this is a sham election.
Did I?
Yes, you have insisted
How?
by the questions you have asked.
But I thought these are questions.
By the demeanor.
Oh.
By the demeanor.
You come from the
But
background
no,
of a journalist.
by the
I
posi-
thought you can be
posi-
discerning enough
by the
to
position,
digest questions.
by the position you have taken. Are you suggesting that we should prevent Mr. Robert Chagulanyi from doing whatever he's doing? If he says he's in hiding,
Okay.
should we prevent
Do you
him?
want to set questions for me?
Should we want?
No, do you want me?
I am
do
simply,
you want me
I am
to take
simply,
your
I am
questions?
simply taking you on.
No, I think you're being
Only
ridiculous.
the,
No.
only the ridiculous,
I can't
only
take
the
this.
ridiculous questions you
No,
are setting.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Honorable Nsibambi, how do you gauge the mood in the country in the aftermath of the election?
yeah. First of all, I'm surprised when Honorable Lydia Wanyoto says everything is okay. Going by what is going on right now, or today, the majority of the people did not turn up to vote. There's a polling station in Nansana, in Wakiso, with over 200 voters, and only 46 turned up to vote. So basically, that shows not only voter fatigue, but people are disillusioned. They see no life in elections, and that's very dangerous. Just 3 weeks ago, I got concerned and I approached His Grace Mogalu, the Archbishop, And I said, you cannot just...
Kazimba Mugalu, right?
Kazimba Mugalu. You cannot just abandon the process because you are intimidated or you feel like religious leaders should not get involved. You are the heirs to the prophets, and you must guide the process. So he contacted and engaged with the Electoral Commission, with the IGP, and the president himself. I presented my paper about what is going on the two sides of the aisle, even the opposition as such. If you don't have what they call a galley, it was very difficult to even campaign for a day. And that was dangerous. The youth were engaged in coming up with the paramilitary groups. On the other end, you also have the institutions of police and the military waging suppression and anarchy on the population. And I said we cannot go through this process, which is just a one-year process, when you have a future and the country as such. I proposed also dialogue. It was not really conceding that you are weak, but we had no alternative in the midst of a dictatorship. So the militarization of politics, commercialization of politics, in Uganda here, if you are a candidate, the minimum you would inject in is about 500 million.
Minimum?
So, minimum. And personally, I also had a gari, which you had to pay for you to go through this kind of process.
What is a gari?
A gari is a paramilitary youth group to protect candidates in the opposition. So you could not blame the opposition when actually they're responding to a crisis created by the state. So he invited the different stakeholders. Those meetings you saw on TV,